ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce to you my next speaker. This lady doesn't seem as if, you know, what I'm going to read here, but when I read it, you are going to be blown away. If you have someone, listen to me guys, if you have someone who need to be on the line right now, that you haven't mentioned that they need to be on, send them a message now. Tell them they need to be on the line right now to hear what I'm going to share. To hear what Nyasha is going to share with all of us. If you have somebody that you know is in a position financially, they need to move forward, they need to grow their brands, they need to grow their business, they need to understand just who they are, send them the link right now and tell them to get on this line. This is no joke, guys, I'm telling you. Let me introduce to you properly, Nyasha. Nyasha Gwatidzo was born in rural Zimbabwe. She came to the UK in the 1970s, listen to this, gained a degree in chemistry and was going to do a PhD in chemistry. Like seriously, I dropped chemistry at all levels. But she found her passion, because chemistry wasn't a passion, in childcare, therapeutic childcare. And so she qualified as a psychotherapist, a social worker, and a coach. Now, from chemistry to psychotherapist, she will explain. As a Black African woman, as you can imagine, she felt and went through a lot of discrimination because of her drive and passion for what she has to do. She became a philanthropist. She developed a very successful social enterprise. Listen to this, guy, listen to this. This is the part. She launched and built successful multi-million pound businesses, and she has generated cumulatively over 130 million turnover. Are you hearing me? Guys, are you listening? Is everybody there? Can I get some feedback that people are actually hearing me right now? 130 million turnover. How many of you would like to do at least 25? Okay. 25, okay? Listen to this. Her vision is for global connections. And as a mentor and entrepreneur, she's setting up a social impact fund to support women entrepreneurs in Africa and across the globe. She runs a fostering agency called Banner Placement, Family Placement, and is heavily involved in supporting children, education with uniforms and books and all of that across the world. Through her Vanna Trust Farm, also in Buckinghamshire in the UK, she helps children with disabilities and autism and mental health issues. I'm reading this because I really want you guys to understand what this woman is going to talk about today, okay? She is the author of 16 inspirational business and life tips, and she's soon to write another book, How to Not Be a Foster Carer. I can't wait. Her awards include European Federation Businesswoman of the Year, Chamber of Commerce, South African Chamber of Commerce, Business and Community Award, this award, that award, the list is endless. And today, she's gonna teach you how to set up an 8-figure social enterprise and become a serial and social entrepreneur. So let's welcome to the stage on Global Champion Summit, Nyasha Gwatidzo. Guys, I think we need to take a bow.
Thank you. What an incredible introduction, Camilita.
But Nyasha, everybody is saying they need to connect with you. Somebody says, I need to connect. Yes, thanks. Yes, wow. Why does she sound similarly like you? Welcome. Nyasha, I have done this story with you in Canada. We did it in London. We're doing it all over the place, on my summits as well, because I just want your story to be told to the world.
Yes.
Nyasha, chemistry to childcare, give us the backstory on that first before I ask you questions about what you're doing now.
Yes, chemistry was, I was just good at it, chemistry and maths when I was at school, and my father was very interested. My parents were both teachers, so they were very interested in me becoming an academic. I was going to become a professor in chemistry, and I just loved doing it. And when you're growing up, I think you end up doing a subject because you like doing it and because you're just good at it. It wasn't any grand idea that I was going to become a chemist or something I'd really thought about that I was gonna that was gonna make my career. And I sort of filled in there. But it just took my supervisor at Imperial College when I was doing my literature research in first year. And I couldn't afford to do my PhD full time, so I was doing it part time. I used to go there on Thursdays. I'll never forget it. And but I was working in a doctor's surgery, working in a very inner city, Hoxton area, with a lot of problems. And I started getting young people, teenagers, referring themselves, 12-year-olds. They said, "Oh, can I talk to you by yourself?" And I had had some training in listening and counseling skills on a voluntary, because I used to work with women refugee and women Lambeth in mind. So I just was I just used to talk to him about him, you know, these young people who come to me. And I never knew for a minute that he was listening to any of it. And then the last day when I went to present my literature research, he said, "When Nyasha, you've passed, we'll meet in October." I'll never forget, it was the 8th of July. And the date and time and everything, I'll never forget. We did our presentation, I think, for about an hour. And he said, "I don't have any problem. You can start doing your research in October." And then when I was literally just packing my bags to actually leave, and he said, "Tell me again, why are you doing this PhD in chemistry?" And I said, "What do you mean, why am I doing it? Because I like doing it." And it was funny enough, it was such a boring topic, actually. It was looking at pollution of coal mines in Derbyshire, its effect on the environment.
This is not far from where I live.
And that used to be, I needed to get a life, really. But that used to excite me to look at that. And then he said, "Why don't you become a social worker?" I said, "Nyasha, every time you talk about the young people," and at that time I was a mother, my daughter was about 18 months old, you just light up. Why don't you become a social worker or a therapist? And I said, "Oh God," I could have actually taken offense to say, "Well, does he think I'm not good enough to do this research?" But and he said, "Nyasha, I've got a flyer." He knew the professor of social work at Goldsmith College, and he had a flyer of this Pelham Institute, which I don't even know how he got. I have to have the flyer of it. And he said, "Why don't you call them? And if you don't get any joy, the professor of social work, I can call him now." I said, "Oh no, I can call him myself." So I went off. That was the last time I saw him. And I called the Goldsmith College. They didn't answer. I called Pelham Institute, and they answered. And the next day I was there at their institute in South London being interviewed, and got into place on doing a postgraduate course in psychotherapy. I've never looked back. I've never looked back.
That was so many people are listening to this now, I'm thinking, what the heck? So, okay, wait, hold on. Fill in the blanks here for us, because we're waiting for the 130 million. I know, how many of you waited to hear how the 130 million came about? Because that's the thing that really inspires me about this woman more than anything else. How she didn't even plan for it. This is crazy.
Yes. So, I never planned any of it. I just never planned it.
Let me ask this question right here, right now. From a psychotherapist to setting up a social enterprise to doing 130 million. Take us through that bit of the journey, please.
Then I started seeing children one-to-one when I'd qualified and done my MA by then. And a local authority got to hear about me, and they would send me saying, "Nyasha, we've got a child who is living in this children's home. Will you go and do one-to-one sessions with them?" And every time I went, this was, years ago, there was this group living, and the young people were, 100 people, children would be living in this group home, which was very institutionalized. And the first day I got there, they would be saying, "Oh," their friends would be laughing, you're seeing a shrink, there must be something wrong with you. "Oh, I don't want to see you because everyone will laugh at me because I'm," they'll say, "I'm seeing a shrink, there's nothing wrong with me." And there was all this tension. And I just had a aha moment on the second or the third day I went to see them, was that why can't we have smaller homes where the therapy is a daily living experience, and there's no one who gets pulled out to go and do play therapy by themselves, so they don't feel picked up. The way we cook with them, the way we take them to bed, The whole process was therapeutic in its way we did it. Because of my training and whatever, and I said, if I get members of staff who I will train to understand what happens to children when they've been abused in terms of attachment, in terms of behavior, and I support them, then we can look after them in a therapeutic manner, so nobody feels that they're being excluded or labeled or think that they're being a shrink, or without giving any name to it. So that's where I got the idea from. So I set up the very first children's home, therapeutic children's home, which was run not by a local authority, not by charities, because if you look back of therapeutic communities, they were all very heavily involved, like Banadas, the Calvary
Yes.
Court, Pepper,
Yes.
they're very heavily funded by charity, from the charity point of view. And I said, this thing doesn't exist. As usual, I get myself into trouble. Just because it doesn't exist, or just because it hasn't never been done, it doesn't mean that I can't set up this.
Of course.
This thing. And my driver, and people can never, almost don't believe me when I say, if you feel really passionately about something and you're purposely driven, money will follow.
Say that again.
If you feel passionately and you're purposely driven about something, it doesn't matter what it is. It could be about the ocean, it could be about the dog, it could be about the cat, it could be about the children. Money will follow. You don't need to, money is there. I really believe in abundance. Money will follow. I never set up to say, I am gonna set up this thing and I'm gonna make so much money and therefore, or whatever. I set up that I'm gonna help these children integrate back in after they've had therapy, lived in a therapeutic, integrate back in the community as functioning adults. That was what I wanted to do, and to make a difference to those children, whatever, whether there were 6 of them, even if I made a difference to one, that was what was the driver. And within 6 months, I was running a multi-million-pound business.
Are you hearing that? Are you hearing that?
Multi-million-pound business.
6 months.
I opened my home on the 6th of July, since a year later, after that conversation with my supervisor. And by December, I was full. I had 6 kids living in my children's home. I was full. I had recruited my 30 members of staff. And I had struggled with opening a business account because I went to every high street in South London to look to open a bank account. I had a bank account. I'll tell you something. I had a bank account as a student, and I had a 250, I'll never forget that. I had a 250 pounds overdraft facility when I was a student. And I continued when I left university, I continued to have this. And I went to the last bank ever, Barclays, and Barclays said to me, we will open a bank account. We don't know what you're on about. This is not a business, that's done by a charity. You're not a local authority, there's no way, but we'll take the risk. We'll open a bank account with you. And here's the catch. We'll open a bank account with you, but you cannot be £1 overdrawn. £1 overdrawn. I could not be. I was a startup. I could not be £1 overdrawn. Today, 34 years later, I'm not £1 overdrawn. I do not have an overdraft facility. Not because, I think it's still because they don't understand what I'm doing. And I'm running a multi-million-pound or turnover company, and they don't understand what I'm trying to do. They don't see it as a business. But I don't need an overdraft facility because I've learned, what you're talking about in terms of resilience, I've learned to do without it, I've run my business without £1. And that really focuses somebody's mind. If you cannot be £1 overdrawn, you must always have money. That's what I'm saying, money follows.
Well, yeah.
And at the end of the month, how do you pay members of staff when you don't have an overdraft facility? And so I've had to learn how to manage within the constraints. Because I'm just thinking that if I'd had the overdraft facility, then maybe I would have learned to borrow money, which was
absolutely.
And my mother always said, you must never use money, which you don't have. That's why today I don't even have a credit card. I don't have a credit. I've got a debit card. I spend money I have.
Guys, are you hearing this? Now let me pause, because guys, are you hearing this? Like seriously.
Yes.
This is why I've asked Nyasha to come on and share. How many of you are glad you're listening to this information today? It's giving you hope in what is in your heart. I love that, Nyasha.
That definitely
Be passionate, purpose-driven. Be passionate and purpose-driven, and money will follow.
Yes, you've got to be purpose-driven and money will follow. And money is there. And I mentor other people. I remember a few weeks ago, I had a call from somebody and she said to me, oh, I was given your name, but somebody else will, so many people. Anyway, she said, I want to set up some care agencies, something to do with supported living. And I said, oh, what do you know anything about this and whatever? And he said, oh, my neighbors seem to be doing really well. They do it. And I said, okay, what are they doing? They're running this. And I said, how do you know they're doing well? Oh, they seem to, recently they bought new cars, the husband and wife, they bought brand new cars. And I said, so why do you want to set up this business yourself? Do you have any experience of it? Is it something you care about? Or no, I just want to make money. I said, could you please come off my phone, talk to the hand? Do you know what the meaning of setting up a business and what it is, a privilege? I said, you're working, the supported living she wanted to do. It's very vulnerable people. So I said, what happened? What's going to happen to these vulnerable people, your clients, your members of staff? You build up this agency with lots of people and you make the money. What's going to happen to these people you want to help? So, I will just, if I make enough money or I buy the latest car, I'm going to leave it. I'm not going to do it anymore.
Wow.
And her purpose in life is to make money. It's nothing to do with passion. It's nothing to do with her purpose in life. I think she's an accountant. That's her day job. And she wants to move into this. And I said, really? I don't think we should continue this conversation. I don't want you to waste my time because you don't seem to understand the commitment, the deliverance, and the privilege for you to be working with these vulnerable people. And you're just going to leave these people in the lurch just because you've made the money. And she found it really, really odd. The conversation was very, 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 very brief because I said, I really don't want to waste your time and mine, because it's not about making money. It's about being purposely led and driven. What makes you get up in the morning? Mm-hmm. And I get up in the morning every day to make a difference to a child's life. Wow. And really, and also to learn. And the most people I've learned from is the children. Yeah, it's just incredible. Their stories, their resilience, and their survival, the things they've gone through for them to have survived to being here today, being alive. Some of them are quite lucky to be alive, just things we take for granted, and how they push through by being resilient and still laugh, still smile, despite what they've been through.
Nyasha, let me just stop you there, because guys, are you feeling so emotional about this one? Like seriously, are you? Somebody says she's in tears. Yeah, because this is why I always I want Nyasha to travel with me the whole world. The whole world. Well, let me share this story because I know it will transform people's lives. It is, guys. Are you guys enjoying this? Can I get some feedback? And give us a couple of testimonials so I can send those to Nyasha so she can see and hear from you guys.
Oh, thank you.
A couple of testimonials. Tell us, you're loving this.
Yes.
I want to talk about this for a minute because this is something that's really close to your heart. Now, look, we'll talk about the giving back bit in a minute. And obviously, I know you got the farm in Buckinghamshire, which you help disabled children and all of that as well. So we'll talk about that as well. But just bear with me here. You are setting up, listen to this, guys. Guys, listen to this. This is just crazy. You are setting up a social impact investment fund for entrepreneurial women, not just in Africa, but across the globe. It's a £1 billion fund. Guys, are you hearing me? It's a £1 billion. Tell us about that, Nyasha, please.
Oh, it's just an incredible story. About 8 years ago, I woke up one day with my hand like a balloon. I couldn't, it just blew up. It was about 8 years ago. And really, it was, I don't know where it came from, but I really struggled for about 3 years. I couldn't dress myself. I've got funny stories about one morning wanting my brother to help me put my tights on, but we shall not go there. And it left me quite disabled. And then it was just later on that they found out that I saw an African doctor, actually trained in GEM, but he was from Somali. And he said, Nyasha, you're suffering from vitamin deficiency. That's why you're having this problem with your hand. And I said, after they did a biopsy, they did all sorts of tests, and they couldn't find out what was the matter with my hand. And he said it's a vitamin D deficiency. And I said, oh, I'm always in Barbados. I've gone with Camilita to Barbados so many times.
You've been with me all over the world, guys. Barbados.
I've been everywhere around the world.
With me.
It's my son and everything. And
yes.
He said 2 weeks there and 2 weeks is not going to happen. You really need to live in a warm country. And so it gave me, and then I went back to my work. I mean, I couldn't go to work for about 18 months. And when I went back to my workplace, my company had doubled in size in terms of turnover, doubled. And it gave me an aha moment that I'm a leader and I've empowered these people. I'm not needed. I don't have to be as managing it, hands-on, that I could just become a strategic person and still run my company. So I've never gone back since my hand, whatever, because he taught me. I said, I was the hindrance in this company growing. So I said, my mother at that time was, 83. And I think, my mother is getting whatever. She always came because she used to live here. She used to spend a lot of time, I'll say 5 months of the year, she used to spend here in the UK. And I said, I want to go and spend some more time with my mother. Is not getting any older or younger. And so I said, what can I take to Africa? And I lived there. I was planning on living 9 months of the year in Africa and 3 months in the UK because I still have got business interests. And I've got my children who are giving me grandchildren now. And I wanted to keep that going. They can come during the school holidays, and during the summer, I would come here when the weather is bearable. So I just was turning over in my head. What can I take? And I said, what is one thing I have really struggled with? It was not a struggle, by the way. I went beyond this issue of access to finance.
Yes.
There's a lot of people in the UK, around the globe, women in particular, who have got no access to money.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, the institution's not understanding your business because you're a woman, because you're African, because you're whatever the reasons they might want to describe the reasons why they don't access. And that's one thing I drove me that I run a multi-million pound and I do not have an overdraft facility. And I could have let that disable me, but I'm one of those people who find a wall and I'll find a way of getting through it. So that doesn't stop me getting about my own business, minding my own business. So I thought about this and I said, I'm gonna take a fund. And at that time, I was thinking of it being 100 million pounds fund for women entrepreneurs in Southern Africa. And so I started, for the last 3 years, I've been going to Africa more than 6 times a year, because I've got the charity, I was already in the region anyway, but I will make a point of meeting up with Chamber of Commerce, the Women's Desk, you name it. And I've been to about 15 African countries so far. And I'll find a way of meeting women entrepreneurs who are struggling because they're women, the assets are in the husband's name or in the brother's name or the uncle's name, but money for themselves to grow their business. And there's such a need. But I am starting in Africa, but I know this is a global, this applies to UK today.
Yes.
There's so many women who do not have access to financial support, including myself. So I then started networking with the private equity world, because this fund comes under the private equity model, in that we take shares in the company, we invest it for long-term, 5 to 7 years old, and then we recuperate the money, and then we give it to the next women who needs the fund. So they started telling me that, oh, Nyasha, 100 million is absolutely a drop in the ocean. And, Camilita, these people, they don't realize who they're talking to.
Yeah.
And so I said,
the problem is that it shouldn't.
What will be acceptable in terms of this model? And they said, oh, it's got to be in the billions. I said, okay, then as from today, it's no longer going to be 100 million anymore. It's going to be 1 billion. So that's where I am. And I have been looking for a fund manager because I can't promote it. Yeah. And I think, touchwood, I have found one, a woman who's based in Geneva and in Kenya and South Africa. And so the next quarter, starting from September, I'm going to be on a roadshow fundraising for this one big. And I want to, it's going to become global. I'm still going to earmark the 100 million for the African women. Yeah. And the rest of it is going to be for the whole global world.
Listen, how many of you would like to be on her shirt tail as she builds this fund? She's got no choice. Like, she has to take me. Nyasha has been with me to Barbados, to my retreat. She's been with me, all over the UK, to Canada. We actually went to Niagara Falls together, took your son. Yes. Niagara Falls, went to Minute the Mist, and all sorts of things. Yeah. We did a lot of crazy stuff together. But guys, isn't this phenomenal? Are you just getting a sense of, I could do this? Like, whatever I put my mind to, like, if Nyasha could do this, then I could do this. Are you getting
honestly, yeah. It sounds really flippant, Camilita, to say, people just think it's quite patronizing or flippant to just say, if I can do it, you can do it. And really, from my story, from where I've come from and where I am, if someone had told me this story, I would have told them, Nyasha, and sometimes I sort of pinch myself, like when you were introducing myself, I feel as if you're talking about someone else.
No, I do. I challenge you. I challenge you in Canada. I challenge you in London. I challenge you everywhere we travel, Barbados, everywhere. Like, I challenge you because I can't wait for your video to come out, because your story it needs to be told the world over. Like, it's just, it's surreal for some people listening to it. It's because, but you used success principles that are just amazing. Being passionate, being purpose-driven, and then money will follow. And managing those constraints, managing yourself. It's just mind-blowing. Guys, listen, everybody's saying, oh my God, they love your story, they want to hear more. People need to hear more. Guys, get in touch with me. I'm going to get you to get in touch with her, and she has a free resource. How many of you would like her free resource today? How many of you like her free resource right now? Like, you want it now. You're like, Nyasha, I need your
Yes.
I want your resource right now, Nyasha. Now, look, before we go into, guys, if you got questions, please, ask away. I will stop her. Nyasha, I know you sort of give back, not just to women, but you give back to children in Africa and support children in Africa. We'll talk about what you do to support entrepreneurs in a minute, but you give back to children in Africa a lot. Why is that so important to you to to, you know, I know you've given
It's,
young
it's,
men
it's
tell us.
it's instilled with me by my parents. They were all about, you know, giving back, and always telling you that us when we were children that we're so privileged. We are so educated. Some people, you know, again, it sounds quite flippant when we're saying these messages that, you know, there's other people who are suffering out there. But my parents were real role model in that they did it. I saw them giving to the community. My parents were teachers. My dad was a head teacher. And if a child didn't have school fees, my dad used to pay for it. Oh. So, and you know what I mean? And we saw this in action. And you know what I remember when I was little. One day we were just staying in the school village, and then one day we just woke up with a goat in our garden. And I said to my mother, "Why have we got a goat in our garden?" She said, "Oh, my dad brought it up yesterday because he paid school fees for someone who's now going to boarding school, and the father or the grandfather wanted to thank him and gave him a live goat." And I said, "What are we going to do with this live goat?" And my mom said, "Oh, we're going to keep it." And then a few days later, we had babies. This goat was pregnant. We didn't even know it was pregnant, and it gave birth to twins. So that's how I was introduced to it. So since then, from when I was a child, our parents always had goats. It was from this. My father being kind and someone else giving. They couldn't find a way of repaying him. They didn't have any money. So they gave him a goat, a live one. It was such a easy thing. A chicken, my dad would go somewhere and he'll be given a chicken, he'll be given this because of what he was doing in the community. So it's just so instilled in us as even my siblings. They're very much about giving back. And the charity was set up really with my mother because she was saying, "Nyasha, every child has got a right to education. And if they could do anything, they should at least have primary education," because she was a primary school teacher. That's why she felt so strongly about it. So we started doing it informally to do with HIV and AIDS orphans at that time. It's no longer an issue now. People are living with HIV because of the medication. But in the 80s, and late 80s and early 90s, a lot of families died, and the grandmother will be left with children. They don't have any income. So my mother, that one she wanted to focus on. Then I formally registered ourselves here. And then when I moved to here at the farm, I said, "What am I going to do with all this land?"
I've been to your farm.
Yes, young people.
You've got pigs and
I've got everything.
There.
And again, it's all about the young people. So I opened my back garden really to the young people who come, and they come as a day center, feeding the animals, growing organic produce, and it's just incredible. The young people who come here, they like the outdoors, and they end up getting jobs in the garden centers, the National Trust gardens. Just incredible to just see a person who's coming from quite depressed, or they're not thinking very sure their self-esteem, to actually applying for a job, getting it, and now they're in the community contributing. It's just such rewarding.
Nyasha, I've got a question, and I think a lot of people would have this question. Now, guys, as much as Nyasha is lovely, let me tell you, she's a businesswoman. I've spent time with her. I've been at her house, been at her farm, and besides us traveling all over the world, but she's a businesswoman and she doesn't mess around. Someone is asking, how do you find the right staff for your organizations and for working with the right people? What are some of the things that you hold very high in finding the right talent? Because I know you're very diligent and you don't mess around with people wasting your time.
No, I don't want people to. It's for me, it's about attitude. When I'm always looking at people's attitude to diversity, to work. What is their attitude? Their attitude about life, because from attitude builds the resilience. In terms of talent, you don't want a talent who is gonna be put off by the first no or by a challenge. They've got to think outside the box.
Yes.
And it's all to do with attitude. If you've got a negative attitude to everything, and it's all about blaming everybody except yourself,
yes.
And the world owes me, because I'm Black and I'm African. It's not happening with me. And also, yes, it's attitude and trainable, teachable. But it's also in terms of attitude. Some people have got this attitude; they know it all. They know it all. It doesn't matter what this topic is; they're experts on the subject. So if they have got that attitude, I don't really want to have anything to do with them, because if they're not gonna be. I remember interviewing somebody recently, and I said, what do you think you're going to learn from the children you're going to work with? She just qualified as a social worker. And she went into one about how these children are so deprived. I've got nothing I'm going to learn from them. And it just said very negative. It was sort of them and us kind of thing. Wow. These are the poor people deprived. You know what I mean? And she just thought it was a very strange question for me to have asked. But I picked on her attitude towards the people she's going to work, and this superior attitude that, I'm your social worker, so I'm more superior than you are. It doesn't wash with me. So it's about attitude, about ability to learn.
And in life, having the right attitude anyway will take you a lot further than you ever thought. Imagine. You guys, I'm just putting, how many of you would like to get a resource from Nyasha? Tell me quickly. I'm going to call. How many of you want a resource? You might be able to speak with her. Talk to me first. Don't waste her time. Let me tell you. I'm going to copy her resource right now to everybody. It's Nyasha's free ebook, 5 Steps to Turn Your Passion into a Purpose-Driven Business. Okay, so I'm going to copy that to everybody right now. How to turn your passion into a purpose-driven business. So everybody go ahead and download, get that now. Leave your details. Tell me if the link works. If not, I will make sure and get it sent to you.
Yes.
So has it? Somebody says, I'd love to be hired by her just to learn from her.
I think I'll learn from you more. I'm sure you've got a lot of tricks I need to learn. Yes.
Nyasha will see you from a mile away. Let me tell you, she seems very humble and she seems very down to earth. But when you spend time with her like I have, we've all done a lot of crazy stuff together on the boat in Barbados, on the boat in Niagara Falls and all sorts. You understand that she is very much a businesswoman. She has an amazing heart, but she's very much a businesswoman, and I love that about her. So yeah, everybody's downloading it, saying thank you, they got it. The link works.
It's
fantastic,
working.
fantastic. Nyasha, before we close off,
I'm pleased.
I want to ask you about this now. You work and coach entrepreneurs, women entrepreneurs as a whole, about setting up their own social enterprise, setting up their own business. How many of you on the line would like to be coached by Nyasha to build your brand or to build your business? Come on, tell me. If you don't tell me, not going to ask her, you're not going to get the details. You got to tell me. Okay? Because I know her and I know she's not, don't mess with her. You think I'm strict? No, Nyasha, like you do not want to mess with Nyasha, let me tell you. Okay? Nyasha, I know you coach and train entrepreneurs and entrepreneurial, not just women, but men as well. People who want to set up a social enterprise, people who want to grow their brands, people who are really passionate. Tell us about what you do, how you support entrepreneurs with your coaching and your training.
Yeah, it's really, I start from, it depends where they are. If they start up, then we start really from the beginning. Why? What is the big why? Have you done your research? Is whatever your product, your service, is there a need for it? Because another thing, people come up with their own ideas and think this is the best thing ever done ever, but they haven't really thought about who needs it.
Yes.
I think Mama Sharon Lecter talks about you need to find a need.
Yes.
And a need and a demand, and it's so true to my work. Yeah. There's no point having the best phone or gadget, whatever, in the whole world, which does all sorts of things which nobody wants. So in terms of social enterprise, what is the social problem or community problem you're going to solve?
Yeah.
Or whatever it is, the product or the service.
Yeah.
Is there a need for it? And before that, for me, I always ask the question about what is the big why?
Yeah.
And this is the driver in you. What drives you? Why should you even think of setting up that service? Why should you even? What is it personal to you? Nothing to do with business.
Yeah.
Your gut, what I call your intuition.
Yeah.
Why are you doing it? What is your big why? Because the big why is going to be the driver during the difficult times. You're going to have good times and challenging times. And you wish one day say, why on earth am I doing this?
Yeah.
Why should I put myself in this situation of like me going through the 100 banks? And the last one I went to is one which said yes. So the why will make you go and knock on the doors. It will make you wake up every day, because you need to go back. Because when things are not going so smoothly, we do all ask ourselves, couldn't I just get a job at McDonald's and be done? It'd be a lot easier than trying to do this. There's gonna be moments like that. So that's why when they're starting, when they're growing, we just look at what is their current strategy. Who are they talking about? Why are they feeling stagnant? Because sometimes in business, you plateau and you stagnate.
Yeah.
And sometimes it actually needs to go back. They haven't even thought about, they haven't even gone back to their original business plan, their objectives. They actually they put it in a shelf somewhere, or they haven't even thought about. So Nyasha, I've been doing this for 8 years. I've never thought about why I did it in the first place. I have never even thought about. So it's all about realigning about the reason why you ever set it in the first place. Because normally it is linked to your energy, to why you're plateauing. Or reminders about why. Because sometimes we get involved in the detail and stop having this strategy.
Nyasha, you said something just now that's so powerful. And the word you said is just 3 words. And I think that just is you 100%. Why on earth? You're here to serve the earth.
That's right.
Why on earth are you doing it?
Yes. Why on earth are you doing it? It
literally it summarizes you. Why on this earth are you doing it? Who are you wanting to serve on the earth?
Yes.
You see what I mean? You said it and I was like, wow, that is boom, right? That's it. Why on earth?
Look, are you there?
One question someone has, Antoinette has, what and who is yours? Okay, guys, keep your questions coming now. We're coming up to the top of the hour, so keep it coming. Ask for Nyasha.
Yeah. My support. Camilita is my mentor. You know that she's a very good support.
I have got the ruler. For those of you who are in my inner circle, you know I have a ruler for all of you. I have the ruler for Nyasha as well.
Yes. Yes. And I have got, I've got very supportive family. I've got very supportive advisors, and I have, my care, my fostering agency, my carers, my staff members are supporters, and my customers. You don't have, when I talk about my customers, I'm a supporter. Some people they have a second view, but if they don't buy my product or my service, I don't have a business.
It's true.
So my customers are my number. They're validating every time they buy something or they repeat business. They're validating my purpose. Every time they do it, they're validating it. Nyasha, you're doing a good job. They're my testimonial, and they're my number one supporters.
And you know what, guys? Nyasha, as Nyasha said, I'm her mentor. I'm her coach. I've been Nyasha's coach now for couple of years. We've done so much. Nyasha, we've done some crazy stuff together.
Yeah, we have.
And this one time in Toronto, when you were going to speak at my event, and she disappeared. And I was like,
I went to Ottawa.
I was like, she's due to speak on my stage, and I'm like, where's she gone? The lady in the front there said she's gone. Where's she gone? Oh, she's gone. She's taken a plane and gone to Ottawa. I'm like, what? How could she just go to Ottawa? Why could she tell me where she's going? She's like, tomorrow at my event. And I called you, and you were like, yeah, I'm coming back tomorrow. I'm good. I'm like, I tell you, Nelly gave us a heart attack.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny.
Yeah. Together, but more importantly, guys, for as her coach and as her mentor, and in so many things that I want to see her do, my biggest goal for Nyasha, that's my big heart, is that the world hears her story. That's my big goal. Because I know, look, how many of you guys are glad today that you heard her story today? How many of you are going to go and download the ebook right now because you've heard her story and it is just powerful? How many of you are going to tell someone else about her story? Like, tell us, guys, because her story is coming out on video, and we're going to use that to build that fund, because the world needs to hear her story, and I know they will be empowered no end by listening to her story. How many of you are glad she came on the line today? Like, seriously, yeah? And I push her. Look, she's worth 130 million. I'm not worth 130 million yet, but I am pushing her to let the rest of the world know who she is.
Oh, thank you very much. Oh, that's some lovely comment. Thank you for attending anyway.
Guys, come on, give her some feedback. Tell her what you think. Tell her thank you. Tell her what you think. Tell her, just tell her. And if you got questions, ask it now. We got a couple of minutes. Ask it now. Come on, guys. Come on. Yeah, just ask it now. Just ask it now. Like, I am humbled. Like, she challenges me every day in my business to really focus on passion, purpose-driven, and sort of follow. This presentation is especially important to me because my son is a child with special needs, and not very often I come across people who really have the compassion and empathy. Everybody says, thank you, Nyasha. Has me in tears. Nyasha, you shared my heart. So glad, continue to push forward. Thank you. So amazing and very humbling. Thank you. I've shared it with my cohort on friends on WhatsApp, that she's telling everybody it on WhatsApp. So glad, I'm giving me hope. I'm comforting. It's comforting that someone truly cares from the heart. I've downloaded it. Great leader. Key comments for successful evaluating stakeholders. We'll come back to that. Oh yeah, we answered that one. Keep your questions coming and your comments coming before we close off, because guys, let me tell you, Nyasha is the real deal. Like, she is the amazing. Love it. Hope you're coming. We're gonna be back in Barbados.
Yes, I'm gonna come again.
At some point, we're gonna come. She comes to my retreat, so we have a blast. Hope you had moments on your. Have you had any moments on your journey that you felt like giving up? Okay, we will ask that. Give me 1 minute. Nyasha, this is eye-opening, passion-driven, and persistence will be, my motto from now on. Thank you. God bless you richly. God bless you. So let's answer that question, Nyasha. Question: have you ever had moments on your journey that you felt like giving up?
Oh yeah, I've had those moments. At the very start in my journey, when I was having the struggle of not being able to open a bank account, I nearly thought, oh God, they're right. Of course, this cannot be done. It's the charities who do them, or the local government who does it. And when I got ill 8 years ago, I really felt that I wanted to give it up. I thought this was some message that I wasn't gonna. But it was very. I think it lasted a day, a moment, but a friend of mine saying, Nyasha, you always think out of that. It's almost like a breakthrough, isn't it? You hit a wall, and then after that you think of something greater, and it always happens to me when I hit that wall with my health. I thought of this 100 million, and I was thinking that was quite big. That was before I was told it needs to be in the billions. So it manifests itself into something bigger. So if I don't get overwhelmed with it, because some people can. One thing I do, I make decisions quite quickly, because I don't want to be paralyzed by not making a decision. Even if it's wrong, I make it. And so when I think that I've got, this, I've hit a hole, this one is going to be really big one for me to there's no way I can find a way past this big wall, is always, I get out of it by thinking something bigger. It's almost like a butterfly coming out of its cocoon, isn't it? It's a very big to crack the cocoon, but then you just fly. It gets bigger. And
think of something bigger when
yes.
you're whole. Somebody asked a question just now, and I'm glad you said that. Nyasha, Jenny says, what do you say to someone who is reduced to nothing? So like she's in the hole. What do you say to her? Someone who's reduced to nothing, or they feel as if they're reduced to nothing.
I think I say that to myself, but at the time it might not seem that way. But that for me, I always feel that something great is going to come out of it. What can I learn from this situation? Why is this sent to try me? You know, what do they say? You know, God sends you things for a reason.
Yeah.
And these challenges are for a reason. And for me, it's about growth. You come out of bigger, you grow.
Yeah.
And you are a completely different person. And you learn from the challenge. Something positive comes out of it. But at the time, it doesn't feel that way. You just think, this is it.
Well, some people are saying right now, Nyasha, before we close off, some people are saying, do you have any advice for young people who have faced racism in the UK? I think the bank story was racist. Deborah says, and that's Antoinette, Deborah says, I'm a doctor, but I've had a string of difficulties and left my job after my sister died. I'm again unemployed, but use the time to start my blog and to write 2 empowering books for kids on self-love and bullying. How do I build that into a business? So Deborah is saying, how does she build her book and the blog and stuff into a business, something that's close to her heart, about empowering kids? And Antoinette says, do you have advice for young people who face racism in the UK because you think the bank situation was racism?
It definitely was. I've faced racism since I was 12 when I came to this country. But I was running. My parents were coming away from an apartheid system in Southern Africa at the time. So I was born in that situation. And the young people need to be encouraged. For me, it's again this finding something they're interested in, something they feel passionately about. My interest in children started when I was 4. That's my very first memory, carrying a baby on my back. And that's when the seed was planted. And my mother, before she died, she said, Nyasha, I am not surprised you do what you do. Because I knew every baby in the village. You know what I mean? I carried it on its back. You find me surrounded by so many. So young people, they need to look at their interest and the people around them to encourage their interest, to empower them, to grow it, to nurture it, because that is the future. Because from there, they will say, oh, someone took an interest in my drawing or my singing or whatever. My maths, I was so good at math. Someone took it. And my chemistry, a teacher took an interest in me, and they nurtured it, and I just flourished it. And because someone took an interest. And we need to take an interest. And for the person who wants to now write books, and how empowering to have books there targeted for young people. Absolutely. And at this time, with even COVID, where everyone is feeling locked in, their mental health, isolation, whatever, in young people, it's even compounded. Yeah. This is a very good time. I definitely know that there's a need, there's a demand for such things. For such books, but it's to do with their confidence and self-esteem, about the self-worth. There's nothing more disabling than being told that you're not worth anything. Yeah. And I think I am who I am today because my father used to say, Nyasha, I don't know, this man landing on the moon in 1960, I think it had a huge impact on my father. And he used to say to me, Nyasha, if a man can fly to the moon, so can you.
Wow, I love it.
And how can it be so empowering? And I used to say to my dad, my father has got so much trust in me. He thinks I can fly to the moon. So I had to leave to use expectations.
Oh my God. Guys, listen, don't forget, I've sent the link again. Click. How many of you got the ebook? How many of you got the free ebook? Click on it. Yeah, and you will definitely, yes, everybody says yes, they got it. Fantastic. Click on it. I will be sending it as well by email to everybody tomorrow, so you will get another chance to download it. Andrew Bass says, thank you, Camilita. I have a female friend with so many talents, Jamaican heritage, who spends time in Gambia and the UK. Many business ideas, recognize history to celebrate people changing children in our lives. I'm so glad I logged on. Absolutely. You know what, guys, this is why I do this, because I would like the youths of my community, sorry, Karine, I'd like the youths of my community to hear your story. You see, listen,
yeah.
she's gonna get that story on video, let me tell you. we are planning to do it, and we will do it.
Yeah.
It will so help the youth development. Exactly.
Oh, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for the shared ebook. They're gonna share the ebook with people.
Yeah.
I can fly, downloaded the book, join her on Facebook as well. Thank you, Nyasha. Guys, give me some feedback, how you enjoyed her session. I'd like to get some feedback, just tell her how you enjoyed her session.
Okay,
so
thank you very much.
But Nyasha, you've got literally 1 minute. And let me tell you, she's got no choice. I'm her coach saying this. We are gonna be writing an ebook together.
Yes.
Challenge her in that ebook with not anything else but her story. And I'm going to use that as a hook to bring people to her across the globe.
Oh, thank you.
All we're going to do is share her story, because I know my story, guys, you know my story, right? But when you hear her story, you're like, Camilita's story is like minute when it comes to her. Putting both of our story together in an ebook to share with the world, it will transform communities and it will transform people's lives. So I'm challenging her to do it, because I know she has to do it. Everybody says, thank you, officially a fan, stalking you on Facebook.
Lovely, thank you.
Take care. Nyasha, give us one last couple of lines, parting words from your perspective.
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you, the audience, for listening to my story. I'm absolutely, truly humbled. And I am gonna continue to be driven by my purpose.
Yeah.
So today I just want you to take a minute when you're by yourself to look back on something you as a child, what made you cry, or if a film, what made you cry, what made you laugh, what was it all about? Are you aligned with it's a question I'm gonna leave you with you. Are you aligned with your purpose? In your daily living, daily activities, is it aligned to your purpose? Whatever you're doing, wherever you are in the world, because I truly believe that alignment of your purpose last week was Mental Health Week. Does really have effect on our mental health.
Yes.
It really does have it. So you need to look after yourself. And one way of looking after yourself is to align yourself with your purpose.
I was telling a client of mine, I think she's on the line listening right now. I'm not going to call her name, but I think she's on the line. I was telling a client of mine last week, we were looking for a business name for her, Nyasha. Like how you got Vanna Trust, that means something to you.
Yes.
I was telling her, whatever business name we come up with, it has to be aligned with what will pull her, tug at her heartstrings. Because when the shit hit the fan, because it will, in business, that is going to keep you going, regardless of what's going on in your life. And then eventually we came up with this amazing name, and she was in tears while we were talking. And you shared that so eloquently today about daily activities is aligned with your purpose. Because if it's not, it's just not going to happen. Nyasha, wow. Guys, this was just, wow. Nyasha, you humble me every single time.
Thank you. Thank you very much. You inspire me every time.
Oh my God. Well, I will continue to do that until you get your whole story out to the world. Guys,
you've got a mission in life.
That's A. I've got loads of missions. That's one of them. Like you has to be told.
Thank you.
Can we just tell Nyasha thank you for her time today? Nyasha, thank you from all of us.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
amazing. You're amazing.
Yeah.
You're amazing.
Yeah,
Guys,
thank you.
tell her thank you and bye-bye. She has a busy day. She's always running
Yes,
around. So.
thank you very much. I've got 34 chickens, which are 5 days old, arriving. So they've just literally arrived, so I've got to go and see to them.
This is the life of a philanthropist. When you worth 130 million, that's it. So she's gone. Oh my God, I just love her.